1st November, and I could not help but recall a casual conversation somewhere in Ahmedabad with Mr. Anil Bakeri. 1st November, especially because the four Dravidian states celebrate their the state day. I could not help but recall a conversation with Mr. Anil Bhai Bakeri. He's a town planner of Ahmedabad and was on the board of governors of IIM Ahmedabad for a decade before he finally opted out. I know him well because he was my class fellow's father, and in a conversation that went on, very knowledgeable, and as I said, and we talked about Indunal Yagnik and the creation of Gujarat's Gujarat agitation to create the state of Gujarat from to be carved out of Bombay state. So as we got talking, I was asking him, sir, uncle, so that was the first state to be carved out on linguistic basis, isn't it? So with a wave of his hand and with a smile, he embarrassed me. Not that he wanted to. He said, no. The credit for that goes to pointing downwards, south. So that goes to your somebody from the south. So I was intrigued, and he then told me it was somebody named pottisreemalu. Now I had no clue about this man because in our household we haven't discussed about him. I was determined to get to know this, and this turned out to be a fantastic narrative. Pottisreemalu, what a man! I mean, a Telugu, a Gandhian from Nellore district, a freedom fighter who had a penchant to go on indefinite fast anytime that he wanted to against a challenge. He had shifted base from Nellore to Sabarmati Ashram at the age of 25, and with his dedication, Gandhiji was impressed, and he is quoted as saying that if I had 11 more pottisreemalus, I will win freedom from the British rule in a year's time. He participated in the Quit India movement, the Dandi Salt Satyagraha, and many other movements across the country. After independence, he went on a fast to death in Madras state for a separate state for his Telugu community, and he quoted the Nagpur session of the Congress session 1920, where they had passed a resolution that after independence we will form the states on linguistic basis. I mean, somehow something that happened, and he stuck to it. He went on an indefinite fast. Now Madras was then chief minister was C.R. Rajagopalachari, Rajaji, and he refused this. He refused this to entertain this thought at all, because he knew that then there would be a problem once that state would be created. They would try to claim Madras city as their capital. Now this Sreeramulu I, a sanitary engineer, went on a fast. He refused to come down and went on a 66-day fast. And finally, even when the matters reached Mr. Jawaharlalnehru, the Prime Minister, and the JPC committee, the States Organization Committee, they didn't give it much of a thought. I mean, they brushed it aside, saying lie down. It did not, because it led to prolonged agitations and street protests. This catalyzed it into that. And finally, after 66 days, when pottisreemalu passed away, that hunger strike, Pandit Nehru had no other choice but to carve out a state out of Madras state for Andhra Pradesh. Pottisreemalu is a man to be thanked if you're living in our own state based on our language, or have a state on a linguistic basis. Pottisreemalu, which history books have forgotten. And from the Madras state, the Nizams, Hyderabad, Kurnool, and the coastal areas, Andhra Pradesh was formed, and on 1st November 1956, Andhra Pradesh was the first state of independent India to be carved out on a linguistic basis. That set the ball rolling. Kerala was carved out of Madras state with the areas of Cochin, Malabar, and Travancore. Then Karnataka followed suit, being carved out of Madras state, Mysore, Bangalore, Coorg areas, and some areas of Bombay state. So this happened in 1956. Madras state no longer remained Madras state, became Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu. So now we have the 4 states in South India ready on linguistic basis on 1st November 1956. Now all these states celebrate their state day on 1st November. It was but to happen that this movement went upwards, went up country, and Gujarat state carved out of Bombay state, but not before violence, because the Bombay state did not want to let go of that region or did not want to let go of those people. The Gujaratis was they were finance. They were the ones who had got money into Maharashtra, now present day Maharashtra, and the president and the then chief minister of Bombay state was a Gujarati, Mr. Morarji Desai, then who became later on became prime minister. Likewise, Haryana was carved out of Punjab. The escalation of violence there, tensions there, nothing was peaceful. But then each state was being carved out of on linguistic basis, and with each state being carved out, the rest of the states started following. Goa was another state that was carved out of Bombay state. But all this happened later, after Sreeramulu Potti's 1956 Act, 1st November, for the 4 Dravidian states. So determined, when I returned back to Madras, I said, this gentleman, Mr. Anil Bakeri, without us knowing, embarrassed me. I better go and find out more of this man. I met my dear friend, Mr. R. Mohan, the editor of the Hindu, the editor of the Deccan Chronicle, and I asked him, he says, go to Mylapore, there's a bust of, he told me the specific, the coordinates. I went there and I thought I'll expect to find a great statue of pottisreemalu, well looked after, but was totally neglected, as typically as we forget our heroes. Now, whether hero or villain, that you have to decide. But a man who did all this, died, a freedom fighter, a Gandhian, deserves a little bit of a glory, but then his bust was totally neglected. It lay in ruins. There's bird droppings on it. Yes, but around 1st November, I think they do a little bit of cleaning. And Ambedkar, the law minister in Nehru's cabinet, and a Nehru beta, of course, was to quip that is this Pandit Nehru's pindadan to pottisreemalu's soul to carve out a state of Andhra Pradesh on his demise. He wrote this then in the media that if Maharashtra state is formed for the Marathis, does that mean all the Marathi speaking community should come and stay in Maharashtra and all the others would become minorities, or would the Marathi speaking community would be minorities outside Maharashtra? So Ambedkar had a point there, but then pottisreemalu quoted the Nagpur resolution of the Congress 1920 session. That way, that's how we are. If each community of us, if each of our community, language speaking, have a state to our own, or we are living in our. At the moment, I'm in Kerala, and that is my state. And that's thanks to pottisreemalu that I have a state of my own. And again, I go back to Ambedkar. So, are the Tamilians who stay in Kerala or any other non-Malayalam speaking people in Kerala minority? Or are Malayalis who are working in other states a minority? Think on it. That's what happened then and how it would have escalated the violence, agitation, and when there was much more important matters of state, and this came in for Pandit Nehru and Pattabi Iyengar and others not to give it a thought. But then it became so big that humongous it became. They had to finally address it because of violence and agitations. Andhra state for the Telugus was the first state to be carved out for the Telugu speaking community because of pottisreemalu out of Madras state. And with that came out Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, the four southern states. And then it went all over India. Punjab, Haryana was carved out of Punjab, Goa carved out of Bombay State, and likewise Gujarat out of Maharashtra, as I said earlier. So thank you very much. Remember Sreeramulu I whenever you feel proud of staying in your own linguistic state. Embrace the twist to enjoy the turn. Thank you.